Welcome to Check This Out, podcast for kids.
And they're grownups, where we explore people, places, ponderings, and past moments from history that shape the world around us. My name is Amy Contreras.
And I'm Cece. Today is another episode in our series on artists and musicians from history.
Got it, Cece. Today's an episode all about a famous singer named Aretha Franklin.
Tell me about her mama.
Well, she was a really famous singer who is often remembered by her special nickname, the Queen of Soul.
That's amazing.
It is. Do you want to learn a little bit more about Aretha Franklin?
Let's go into it.
Okay, so Aretha Franklin was born on March 25th, 1942 in Memphis, Tennessee.
But she grew up in Detroit, Michigan.
And her childhood was tough. Her parents divorced when she was young, and her mother died when she was only 10 years old. Isn't that sad?
Tell us.
Well, she also got married young, and her career had kind of a slow start, but then things changed. Aretha Franklin switched from singing only gospel music to secular or regular music.
That's really cool.
When she was 18, and she got signed to a record label.
That's really cool.
Okay, but not much was happening for her when she got a record deal.
Why?
Well, it wasn't really working. Her music wasn't really finding its crowd.
Wait,
but
what?
Don't worry, because in 1966, she switched to a different record label called Atlantic Records.
Really cool.
Everything's cool. And a producer named Jerry Wexler supported her in creating her own musical identity.
And that's when things took off.
At Atlantic Records, Aretha Franklin returned to her gospel blues roots, and the results were incredible. She came out with a song called I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You in 1967. And do you want to know how many copies of that album she sold?
How much?
1 million. It was her first ever million seller.
That is too much.
That's not too much. That's perfect. And
But it's also really a lot. How could she do that?
Well, she got really famous. And so while we remember Aretha Franklin today for her long musical career, her incredible performances, and her famous songs, she also had cool friends and she won a lot of awards. But something else I learned about Aretha Franklin while I was researching this episode is that as a child, she was a piano prodigy.
What does that mean?
A prodigy is a young person, usually a child, who's really good at something. She was a talented piano player, and she was so talented that she taught herself how to play piano just by listening to it.
She never learned how to read music. She just learned how to play piano by ear. But that didn't stop her.
Yeah, you're right, Cece. Aretha Franklin was exposed to all this music through the church. Her father was a preacher, so she grew up in the church, singing, playing piano, and performing.
What was special about her?
Well, she had a very powerful voice, and her musical talent was noticed by pretty much everyone around her. She started by performing at her father's church, and later she recorded her first albums in the 1960s. Aretha Franklin's music style was a blend of lots of different styles of music.
She had a soulful voice.
Yeah. And her singing was a mix of gospel, jazz, R&B music.
What does that mean?
R&B means rhythm and blues. And all of this combination of music set her apart from other singers of the time. And it set her...
That's super cool.
Well, it's super cool because it's so different, right?
Yep.
And so, Cece, do you want to know some fun facts about Aretha Franklin?
What? Of course I do.
Okay, so here are some cool things to know about Aretha.
Fact number 1.
On February 29th, 1968, Aretha won the first Grammy ever awarded for the best R&B or rhythm and blues solo vocal performance, female, for the song Respect. Cece, have you heard the song Respect before?
Yep.
What part do you like?
I like when it spells it.
When she goes R-E-S-P-C-T. That part?
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
You know it.
Okay, so here's another fact about her. On January 21st, 1987, Aretha became the first female artist to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That is super duper cool.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I've actually heard of a Hall of Fame before.
Have you?
Yep.
Okay.
Fact number 3.
On February 22nd, 1989, Aretha Franklin became the first female artist to ever win 15 Grammys.
She sounds like a really cool lady.
You're not wrong. She had a long career that lasted for decades. Aretha Franklin produced so many hit songs that became timeless classics. And their songs probably even everyone who's listening to our podcast has heard of, whether it's the parents or the grandparents or the kids.
Some of our most famous songs are
Respect, which we already talked about. You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Think, Chain of Fools, Amazing Grace, and I Say a Little Prayer. And Aretha Franklin's list of awards is impressive. During her life, she won, do you want to guess how many Grammy Awards?
18.
How did you know that?
I looked on the computer.
You're right. She won 18 Grammy Awards, and she had numerous Grammy Hall of Fame inductions and a Grammy Legend Award.
She also retrieved the President Medal of Freedom in 2909.
In 2009, yeah. So that Presidential Medal of Freedom is a big deal. Plus, she had lots of other honors recognizing her contributions to both music and society. Her awards in music and life reinforced her role as a trailblazer and her significance in shaping the sound of American music.
Aretha Franklin made an impact on the world just through music.
And she was also a civil rights activist.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
How did you even know that?
Well, I looked it up. I researched it.
That's cool.
Yeah, and her influence extended beyond just music. She used her platform and her fame to advocate for social justice and equality. Aretha's song Respect was so successful and it topped the charts, but it also became an anthem for civil rights and women's empowerment. Franklin even provided financial support to civil rights causes. She even helped organize fundraising.
A story I really like is she offered to bail out an Angela Davis.
And Angela Davis was a major civil rights activist.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. So Aretha Franklin used her fame and her resources to fight for equality. She sang at the funeral of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who we've talked about on the podcast before.
Yeah.
And she knew him for a lot of her life. Did you know that, Cece?
I never knew that.
Yeah, he was friends with her father. She even made sure in her contract when she was performing in the 1960s that it included a clause that she would never perform for a segregated audience.
Aretha Franklin was a trailblazer.
And her activism didn't stop there. While she was singing and performing, she also held free concerts, housed activists, and helped them fund for civil rights.
She sounds like a busy lady.
You're right, Cece, because while she was doing all of that, she was also singing, performing, producing, and writing music. That's why, from a musical perspective, she's a legend. Her distinctive voice and emotional delivery made her a favorite of audiences around the world.
She was giving a title of the Queen of Souls.
Yeah, I would like to have a name like the Queen of Soul. That's pretty fancy. So despite her fame and success, Aretha Franklin remained famously humble and really dedicated to her music. She inspired generations of artists. Over the course of her life, Aretha Franklin released 38 studio albums and 6 live albums, for a count of 44 in total. Aretha Franklin is still one of the best-selling musicians in the world.
She sold over 75 million albums worldwide.
Aretha Franklin sang for 3 different presidents' inaugural events. Cece, who are the presidents?
Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama.
Aretha Franklin died in 2018, but her fame has continued. Aretha, which was a Grammy celebration for the Queen of Soul, aired in 2019, and it was even nominated for 2 Emmys. Also in 2021, a biopic or a movie about her life came out starring Jennifer Hudson.
She even won a posthumous Pulitzer Prize.
Which means she won the Pulitzer Prize after she died. She was the first individual woman to earn a special citation Pulitzer Prize since the honor was first created in 1930.
Her life had a big impact on music and the world.
She did. I'm so glad we learned more about the Queen of Soul, her songs, her legacy, and her impact. Thanks for listening to another episode of Check This Out. Here at the Check This Out podcast, we know there's a lot of information and it can be overwhelming to find accurate information online. This podcast is a tool for you to help you do something called citing your sources. As you get older and do projects for school, you'll learn that certain types of websites or information sources aren't verified or have evidence and documentation to back them up. On Check This Out, we use verified sources to build the stories you hear about. Verified sources are materials or information that have been confirmed for accuracy and credibility through an evaluation process. Our sources for this week's episode are Billboard, Biography, Vanity Fair, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Britannica, and the BBC.
See you next episode. Don't forget to subscribe.